We still don't have an intro for this.
I think this is the intro. What we're doing now is the intro.
Wow.
It's kind of on brand though, because every time we come to this, we say we don't have an intro, but that's how we intro every video.
I know, but I want an intro.
So when does that become the intro? That we don't have an intro?
We'll just clip it up this week, play it every single week.
Do you know what I mean?
I've done that.
It's kind of Inception, isn't it?
I'd like an intro. Can I have an intro? Sophie, can I have an intro? She said no.
Why does she whisper it like that?
I don't know. So we've called this, was Ronaldo a mistake?
Yeah, we did.
Is there 40 minutes in this?
I reckon easily.
Really? Do you?
I reckon it's about 40 seconds.
Yes, he was. Next question.
Was it?
I'm actually surprised that you said that. I didn't think that would have been your point
All
of
right.
view at all.
How much ego did you have to drop to say that?
No,
It's tough to say
You're
that.
speaking logically, and not necessarily just him, but in terms of the grand scheme of things.
you have to say it was a mistake. Now,
Hindsight.
you have to say, well, I think I said at the time, he ain't going to be here for long, so you're going to have to replace him, right? The mistake is in not replacing him. The mistake is in pissing Cavani off of him.
Yeah, but would you rather?
You had to
Cavani?
sign him. But here's the thing.
Did
you
we?
might still have had to do it, but it might still have been a mistake.
What do you mean though?
It's like, do you know that moral dichotomy that there is about whether you divert a train to kill, is it like whatever people, or it's going to crash and kill this many people?
Yeah.
So one of those. Both are wrong and right.
Yeah,
That's
but
why it's a moral dilemma.
I don't think it was a mistake because I just think at the time we were second. The next stage was to challenge. We got Varane in, we got Sancho in. Ronaldo comes available. Had to sign him because he would have gone to City otherwise. We sign him. Things start off well, and then it all went to shit. But it would have gone to shit anyway. Even if Ronaldo wasn't there,
I disagree.
and it would have been
think
even worse.
I think it was a mistake. 100%. I agree with you. It has to be a mistake.
Go on, why?
Because we signed Ronaldo during a time where we had Cavani signed as a stopgap anyway. He was in the last stage of his career. And for the past few years, we've been constantly saying we need to merge. Obviously, Green wanted to become a 9, but we didn't know whether he'd be better as a right winger. So the talk was United needed to get a striker for the future anyway. There wasn't really any in the market, so we got Cavani as a stopgap. The likes of Nunes, Haaland were being talked about, etc. And then we weren't able to get these players because we jumped at the chance to sign the 37-year-old Ronaldo, who was going to be another stopgap. And then we allowed our rivals to sign Nunes and to sign Haaland. And now Ronaldo's left and we don't have any more young strikers on the market to buy. So it definitely is a mistake in that sense.
Would we have signed Haaland last year, though, if it wasn't for Ronaldo? I say no, we wouldn't. As much as we would like to, I think we would have done. We
definitely
wouldn't
not.
We wouldn't have done.
Well, we left it last minute anyway.
We signed. They was never going to allow us to take Sancho and Haaland in one window, even for all the money and the riches in the world, which we wouldn't have done anyway.
But it's also the fact that we came into this transfer window obviously prioritising a DM. We still needed to look ahead because we had a striker playing week in, week out. That was going to be 38.
Well,
so
we was looking. We've done how many scout reports have we done saying bring in another striker, and we were saying give Ronaldo the Thursday off. Anyway, don't let him hear that Europa League music. Give him. But I think you have to say with the circumstances the way they've gone. All right, here's the litmus test. Do you do that transfer? Go back to that last summer. Do you do the transfer again? Yes or no?
if I knew with hindsight without it.
Yeah, you've got the hindsight. You know what happened.
You're going back from now.
The thing is, I can't necessarily say him signing. Is he going to sign City? I don't know. I don't know if we can say that because I think there'd have been more people coming to the game for him, possibly PSG at the time.
But didn't you say that was?
I wouldn't sign him because I can't sit here and say that it was a mistake and then say, oh, if I was going back, I'd sign him again.
Do you sign him again last summer?
100%.
Wow.
Because but this is like on a personal thing. When I was a kid, he was the man I wanted to be. Literally, got a season ticket last season. Then we're in for Ronaldo, and I'm just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. 100% going to sign him. Getting to see him for a season. And like we still saw so many good Ronaldo moments.
No, we did, but how many of those moments? Like, there's someone in the chat just mentioned that Ronaldo intimidates other players. Take that for what it is. I spoke to somebody last week about Ronaldo, and I can't remember which game it was, but there was a moment when Someone didn't pass him. I think Rashford either passed to Sancho and Sancho scored, or Sancho passed to Marcus and Marcus scored when Ronaldo was free. And apparently he lost his shit in the dressing room with him about not passing to him. Now, I'd back him if they hadn't scored, but they scored, so shut the fuck up.
Wait, United scored?
Yeah, United scored. Whoever it was either Sancho or Rashford, and the other one set him up.
He traded.
What?
He traded.
No, it was a game.
A game.
Yeah, it was a game. I can't remember who it was against.
I think it might. I think I remember this. It might have been a game where it was a really good pattern of play down the right. I think Ronaldo was in acres of space. He was calling for the ball. He never got it. We ended up scoring anyway, and he still had a bit of a moan about it.
Well, apparently, when they got into the dressing room for half-time or full-time, he fucking had a proper paddy about it. Proper full-on meltdown.
I know, but you can't use little instances like these, whether they're true or not, to say that we shouldn't have signed.
So you can use.
I believe
you can't
he told me
use
this 100%.
So you can't use those little instances against him, but you can use the little instances of when he scores for him.
No, but
you got to work both ways.
Well, look, bigger
the
picture.
point I was making is if he's spitting his dummy out like this when we still scored, what the fuck is he doing at some of the moments when they should have passed him, because there was loads of those.
Can we refer back to Brentford as well? Brentford game where
He spit his dummy out big time.
where he got subbed off when they were 2-0 up. He spat his dummy out. Rashford come on. Was it Rashford that come on?
Mm-hmm.
And then he had a little bit of a paddy, a bit of a moan on the sideline with Rangnick. Rashford scores. He doesn't celebrate and continues to whine. So that kind of showed you about the kind of individual mentality that he does have. It can be beneficial, but it also can be negative.
I ain't 100% either side of this thing here, because on one hand, a little bit like what Dre's saying, like, I fucking loved Ronaldo when he was here, and it was great to get the opportunity to see him come back again. And I personally think he's an absolute mentality monster. I think it comes from a selfish point of view rather than like the Roy Keane doesn't really give a fuck about the personal accolades, but just wants to be part of a successful team.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think it's a totally different way of going about it. But I thought there was a lot that the players could learn from him. And I didn't necessarily just fall in line with some of the rumours that was coming out, like Ronaldo's upset the dressing room because he's demanding. Well, I was more in line with Ronaldo on that, saying this dressing room needs upset.
Yeah.
It's full of fucking losers,
Yeah.
babies.
I think that's the
You're
best.
right.
I think that's the best thing that Ronaldo did when he came.
Possibly.
It was kind of expose some of the mentality of the players and just the general cult. Because he was open about saying that the culture was a lot different from when he was first here.
No shit.
He didn't like the way that things
We
were,
needed that.
and he wanted to kind of raise the levels a bit, and he weren't happy with it, which was good and it was needed. But then it was awkward because the players didn't respond well to it. You obviously saw Maguire liking that Instagram. Obviously, you've not commented on that yet. It just kind of showed the divide that it was. Obviously, it was the Portuguese contingent, and then it was like the English players.
Somebody told me that the Portuguese-speaking contingent was massive. And when you start breaking it down, you go, like, so it's all the Brazilians. There's quite a few Portuguese in there anyway, but that's all the Brazilians. But it's even the likes of Lindelof and that, he speaks Portuguese. And I'm sure there's probably a couple of other low-key Portuguese speakers.
Yeah, but surely that was happening before Ronaldo came?
Well, yeah, we had a Spanish contingent.
Exactly.
You had all the Mata, Herrera, De Gea,
So it's not Ronaldo's
and then
fault.
Rojo was part of it, Bay was part of it. No, it's not necessarily Ronaldo's fault.
No one said it was Ronaldo's fault specifically.
There was a click, and by all accounts, Ten Hag ain't happy with that click because he's been like, that's not happening anymore. I mean, clicks happen in dressing rooms.
I just think Ronaldo this season has saved our bacon. If he was not there, Ronaldo, you mentioned about Cavani. Cavani hasn't been here, and you can't just say, Cavani's not been about because Ronaldo's been there.
I think
Last season,
there is an element of that. There is an
it'll
element
be a
of that.
slight
I
element.
think he'd have made more effort if Ronaldo were
He
there,
definitely
which isn't the right attitude
He's not
either.
right attitude, but he spat his dummy out with
But then
Ronaldo,
who would you
right?
rather have, Cavani or Ronaldo?
It's not really
Cavani
about
would
that.
not have scored 18 Premier League goals this season. Cavani would not have.
No, he had a
I
Saved
don't know,
our
man.
bacon in the Champions
I
League.
feel like you need to remember who Cavani has been for the last decade. It's not like he's just a run-of-the-mill striker.
No, I know he's a
do you know what I
top
mean?
player, but
Like,
he's not Cristiano Ronaldo.
What was the start? I think is it only Lewandowski
Oh,
and Ronaldo and Messi that have scored more than him in the last 10 years.
Just
Cavani,
don't-
it's not like
I actually think
Yeah.
Cavani's performances on average were better than Ronaldo's in the last year.
but
Not
he's-
Cavani's in the
which-
last year. Cavani's since we signed him.
I was going to say, he hasn't played like any
Yeah.
games this season.
This year, I mean, even when he
Yeah,
did come on
he
this year,
was
though.
bad when he bad this year, especially when he come on.
But do you genuinely think if United did not sign Ronaldo, we had Cavani finish this year, he finishes like he has, but he would have been that player. No Ronaldo. Would United actually have signed
The
Darwin
intangible.
Núñez or Haaland?
The
Do you actually think
intangible
that?
is, do we sign
or
someone last year?
or
though?
Julian Alvarez or someone like that. Do you know what I mean?
Did we?
Who were
Would
linked
we
to
have
it.
signed somebody else? Because you signed him late on in the window, didn't we? I don't know if we were signing anyone else. I don't think we would have done.
Yeah, but United, we've seen it. Yeah, United don't plan that far in ahead. I mean, you can talk about. And I'll tell you another thing. Ollie obviously was working a lot trying to get Haaland in. Obviously, he got sacked, so that would have cut the ties of that completely. But there's no evidence to suggest we would have been signing someone had Ronaldo not come this summer.
But there's no evidence.
And we still got a transfer window ahead.
But it's the opposite
Yeah,
way.
well, this is
no
the
evidence
thing.
is just that we
This is
wouldn't
the
have
problem.
signed someone either. Do you know what I mean?
We don't want to just create a false narrative. But
So-
like,
Red Lad there saying liking an Instagram post doesn't mean anything, for fuck's sake. It's probably not even him using the account. That's talking about Maguire.
that's true.
Um,
It might have just been like his brother just scrolling through. Shit, this isn't my account. I'm logged into Harry's account. Imagine.
that's going to be the player doing that.
Do you think?
Yeah, when agents and stuff are using it for client accounts, they're not going around liking posts because they know what can happen if you do that. They will post stuff and they'll post images and it'll be very PR sort of looking stuff. They're not going to post updates and doing post likes and stuff. Damien Brown there says, Steve, you moaned about Shaw and Marshall spitting their dummy out when players joined. I've never said anything along those lines. I've said they've both been challenged when someone's joined, and also Cavani and Ronaldo's careers don't compare to Luke Shaw or Tony Marshall's.
Exactly. And I remember we did say this, Steve, like it was about a year ago. We said every time that a striker was brought in, Marshall's form dipped, and any time that a left back was brought in, Luke Shaw didn't respond too well to it either. But then he obviously changed that around recently when he had that the best 6 months he's had
with
for 7 years.
Thing is, Tony Marshall's response to strikers coming in was different to Marcus's. Marcus was here when Tony was signed. And then when you think who else came in his position since he's been here, he's had Sanchez, Lukaku, Sancho, just off the top of my head there, with a few, Zlatan. Like, how many players have been signed that plays in Marcus's position? He's pretty stoic about it. He didn't really say anything. Just kind of cracks on and was up until last season when he was awful. He's been just going about his business and finds himself in the 11, whereas Tony seems to completely switch off of it. I mean, we got a video coming out this weekend talking about the last chance saloon for Anthony Martial, and he's probably been given the opportunity purely on the basis of United will not invest enough into the forward line. They'll just keep hold of him because it's easier.
Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah,
think
100%.
if you asked any United fan, you think he'd have had his last chance already. But he finds himself in a situation now. If Ronaldo goes, which he 90% is, he's going to get another shot. He's on pre-season tour with them. There's no Ronaldo. He's going to play. Who else is there? It's just him, Rashford.
Challenham
Who
and
else?
him.
Yeah, and Sancho.
When does the tour team
it.
come out, by the way?
It just came out. I think Baggers was going through it.
Who's the youngsters in it?
I haven't
Can we get
seen
that on?
it.
Can we get that up, please?
But yeah,
Somebody.
I think it was literally like 10 minutes ago or something it came out.
Yeah, I think some people did mention that on Ronaldo seen in the comments that
Why is
apparently
Brandon not included in the squad? I was led to believe Brandon's going out on loan.
Do you know where?
No.
I saw that Phil Jones is not going because he's having private training.
Honestly, I'm glad. Phil Jones going on that pre-season tour would have been embarrassing.
Can you imagine
That's good.
that?
At least
No,
it's
but it's
been
like it's funny if you read the article they brought out with it. It's like they've got little reasonings for why certain people have not been left, and you can see they've made a couple of them up. Do you know what I mean?
And whoever's
You're
made that one up is just had a
Yeah, yeah.
shocker. Can you imagine them just sitting there going,
There's 11 empty
Shit.
spaces apparently in the pre-season squad. What? Really?
fucking we'll go, us
11?
three.
11.
So do you reckon Ronaldo's going? Do you reckon he's
100%.
100%, yeah.
100%.
Is it very
100%.
similar to what happened last
100%.
season with Juve?
Ronaldo
last minute just
is
pulled
too
the
big a
plug.
deal. Nobody gets to tell him to button it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, it's like, I'm going, and everyone goes, well, I guess he's fucking going then.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
it.
And two, right? Like, why should he stay another
I
season?
think we kind of knew as soon as we didn't get Champions League football, like he was going to be
don't
iffy
know.
about coming back.
I
No,
thought
we
he'd stay.
knew it the whole time, and you can't say you didn't because you said in the latter stage of the season that Ronaldo is not allowed to hear the Europa League music.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
saying that. Rio's well stole that line off me, by the way, watching you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, by all accounts, let's just say people that were close to him were kind of like, yeah, he's here next season. So I don't know what's changed in the last couple of weeks, but like, yeah.
It was like
I'd been led to believe he was sticking around, and that's what everyone else has been led to believe. So
I think he said he was going to.
there we go. Go on, finish that.
I said I think he was going to stick around because he was probably told that United were going to invest big in the summer.
Yeah, but
and
you don't
recruit
come
the
out and
squad.
make the Champions League your excuse then, do you? You just say I'm going. You don't.
No,
Is Ronaldo?
but that wasn't the
an
first excuse.
He's
The
not
first
playing
excuse was that Ronaldo was unhappy with the lack of ambition that United were showing in the window.
Right, let's have a look at this for a squad then. So we have got 4 keepers going. That's Kovar, Bishop, Heaton, and David De Gea. That's a shame. I was going to see if Tommy Heaton wanted to run out on Sunday. I need a keeper.
Dean Henderson.
That's so disrespectful.
He's gone and he's gone Forest.
Yeah, just on
Has
the
it
way
been
down.
announced?
No, not officially.
All right, he's going anyway.
We'll have an excuse anyway.
Defenders wise, we've got Eric Bailly. I think this is the last time you'll see him in a United shirt. Delo, Laird, Lindelof, Maguire, Malacia, Shaw, Tellez. I think Tellez will be gone by the end of this. Tuanzebe, likewise, Varane and Wan-Bissaka. I wouldn't be surprised to see Wan-Bissaka get sold. So look at midfield.
Wait, quickly, if Bailly and Tuanzebe are going, say we sign Martinez, that means we've only got Martinez. Oh no, because we'll have Varane, Maguire, and Lindelof there. That's 4.
I mean, I'm surprised Mengi or Bernard aren't going on there.
Yeah, it's quite a surprise. Maybe it's just
Ahmad, Bruno, Fredge, Jimmy Garner. I think everyone expected that. Hannibal, Zidane's going. Go on, lad. I did text him the other day and ask him if he was going, and he's not replied to me. So, true story, 100% true story.
Do you reckon he's watching?
I don't think so. If he is, fucking text me back, you dickhead.
Yeah, go on.
Scott, McTominay, Palestri. That's an interesting one. I think he did well on loan, didn't he? Or he was getting some good results on loan.
Yeah.
Charlie Savage, fucking get in there, lad. Well done. I know he's been doing one-to-ones on Max pitch during the day after he's been finishing at Carrington, so that's good to hear. And Donny van der Beek. Tahith Chong, obviously we don't really talk about Chong too much. He's another forward that could get a look in just on a sheer lack of numbers elsewhere. Elanga, Garnacho, who's definitely going to feature. Tony Marshall, as we were mentioning there, Marcus Rashford and Jadon Sancho.
all right.
Not a lot in the forward
exactly.
line.
Look at that. Look how bare our forward line looks now.
I'd have thought you'd have took Charlie McNeil or Hugo. Just cause.
Jadon Sancho's the only one there.
I'm not just talking about
starts
that.
next season.
I'm not talking.
Guaranteed. In
True.
those forwards.
Facts.
That's mad, isn't it?
But that's
That is
actually the issue.
mental.
But I don't think we're going to be able to recruit the forward line that much.
They've got Ahmad listed as a midfielder who's a forward as well. So
I
mean,
almost-
and arguably Palestri is.
I
too.
almost want a season where we look so bare up top. So it's just raw.
Well,
and we can
lucky for
tell.
you.
Lucky for you.
No,
You're about to
no,
fucking get
because
that.
it will just prove it's linked to us what we were saying about Ronaldo and all the goals he scored last season. This will just prove how fucking bare we are as a squad.
I know. There's options though in it. They've got Belotti in a 3. They've got Skamaka. Obviously,
Yeah,
the thing is,
get these lads in.
United have looked at these players and probably just thought,
I don't
Not for
think
me.
we can.
Who are
I
they?
think you need to get in
You know
the
what I
mix.
mean?
Someone says there, what about
Yeah.
a swap for Marshall for Ben Yedder? I think everyone says that, apart from Ben Yedder.
This is the thing. That's why you need to get someone like Belotti in because he'll actually want to join
Hostad
United.
says, what about El
Yeah.
Fattori? What about El Fattori? He
Ben
doesn't get in
Yedder's not
Paddock's team.
interested.
I'm not even joking.
that's
Yeah,
so.
it's-
Nah,
Him and Olasunde are the worst footballers I've ever seen in a professional football team.
Sunday. Is that the right back? The American one? Yeah, he was so bad.
How old's Chris Eagles?
What?
Go on tour.
Oh, to go on tour?
Yeah.
I'm working on trying to get him for Paddock. Don't worry about that. And I'm not even kidding. I got an ex-United striker and Chris Eagles that I'm working on. The strikers give me a yes, but he's signing on elsewhere as a semi-pro, so I don't know how we're going to get him on.
On this same article, does it not have the explanations lower down on why certain?
That's on the United
Or is that on
website.
the
so it
United
won't do.
website, so it won't have it.
United won't have it, no.
Yeah, it doesn't. Because I believe there was an article that was kind of explaining why certain people were left behind. Obviously, Ronaldo's got the issues with his family. I know you've seen Rio come out and say that he definitely has.
If Rio says he has, then he has. Like I've said in all the videos I've done,
Yeah.
I'll never say, oh, he's fucking crying wolf on this, because you just don't know, do you?
No, exactly.
The timing's not great and suspicious,
Yeah.
but ultimately I'll just take it on face value of what he said.
Do you think he ever returns?
No.
Do you think that's it now?
Yeah.
But what's interesting to me is I don't know where Ronaldo goes.
PSG.
PSG. Someone's absolute footy manager wet dream.
It has to happen.
PSG.
Surely, if Mbappe has been
And
given
it'll be
all
the most
these,
dysfunctional forward line you've ever
yeah,
seen.
I'm not going to lie to you. If Ronaldo goes to PSG,
We've got Mbappe, PSG.
he's not
and
guaranteed. He's honestly not guaranteed to start most games.
Messi. No,
I
he
know,
is, because it'll
but
be in his contract.
Di Maria's gone, isn't he?
Who's he starting over?
It doesn't matter.
Neymar?
A keeper,
Oh,
maybe.
right. Who does he start
It
over?
doesn't matter. It's Ronaldo, he goes.
They'll just like a bit of squad rotation.
What from
You know what I
back?
mean?
No, but-
choose 3 of the
That's why
4
they've
of
got
Messi,
Gualtieri,
Ronaldo,
because they've
Neymar,
got
and
someone
Mbappe.
who they can
You'll
just
be
tell
sound.
what to do.
Nah, but what if Mbappe decides that he don't want Raul starting?
Well, he's in charge, isn't he?
That's why. That's why.
Yeah, but Mbappe loves Ronaldo.
Yeah, but he's a fanboy, isn't he? So
He'll be like, get him in now. I'm the gaffer
fuck that
here
little
now.
Argentinian kid off.
He definitely would prefer Ronaldo. He's like, you can tell that.
Yeah.
It'll
It'll be the most dysfunctional forward line. It'll lick teams up 11-0 in France.
Neymar.
It'll make a lot of people
Yeah,
happy.
they might 4-4-2 it.
Neymar. Do you think if Ronaldo
Oh my
signs,
God,
Neymar
can you
leaves?
imagine? Can you imagine they 4-4-2 it?
Nah, Neymar should leave, I think, if Ronaldo comes.
Yeah. Well, but isn't there rumours of him leaving anyway?
Yeah, they were. That's. I think that kind of accelerate it.
Literally, Neymar out the door, Di Maria out the door. It's there for Ronaldo. Then everyone gets to see Messi, Ronaldo.
I think that's,
Never thought it'd happen.
I'd rather.
Imagine.
Not at PSG, I didn't think it'd happen. Certainly 2 years ago, I didn't think that was going to be.
I would have
The
rather.
thing is, that's the only club it could happen at, though. Because being a Barcelona and a Real Madrid player,
it was never going to.
it had to be there, really.
Yeah, probably.
I would have
Unless it
rather
was
they've
like
never
the
played
US.
together.
You'd rather?
Yeah, I would have rather them never played together.
Why?
PSG's going to get so many viewing
Why?
figures on the back of that, though, if they sign them. That'll pay for it.
Exactly.
All their sponsorship renewals and everything's just going to go through the fucking roof.
Come on, no, they've been rivals. What? How many years?
But
15?
apparently they respect each other, though.
Yeah,
It's not like a
respect
pretty
each
good
other.
relationship.
Yeah, but I feel like if you've rivaled someone for 15 years, you just want to play with them at the end. To be
Yeah.
fair, it sounds
Yeah.
a bit like the end of a story, don't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
Bit
what
rom-
it's all
league
about.
Sounds like a rom-com, innit?
Yeah, it's a rom-com, yeah. Next thing you know, they're moving in together, they got in a dog. Like,
Nah, I've seen that. Ronaldo to Barcelona could never happen.
So, yeah, but no, where else does he go? That's right. Say he's not going PSG. 'cause
Bayern
of that.
Munich are far too well run to take Ronaldo at this stage of his career the way he is. PSG are mental. Absolutely could see that going on.
Bayern Munich literally, Oliver Kahn literally come out and said Ronaldo does not fit like our philosophy and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
our idea right now, basically.
Did you see he also said,
Yeah.
like, if we do any business with Barcelona, they're paying cash
Yeah, literally.
because I don't think they'll be in business in 2 years. And he's right. They're $1 billion in debt and they're acting like they just won the lottery.
It
Like,
is mental.
Yeah, they're actually
$1 billion. Do you know how many zeros that is? A lot. I don't know what credit rating you have to have that sort of shit.
Does that include the De Jong debt they have?
Oh, so apparently they owe, someone mentioned this to me on the
Yeah,
stream the
they
other
do.
day.
Yeah.
They owe PK 45 mil.
Fuck off.
De Jong, they signed him, right, for 13 mil a season. Someone said this in my comments, so if this is wrong, just go and find someone in the comments and dig them out, right? Apparently he gets paid 13 mil a season. For the first season, it was like, hey, listen, can we just not pay you 10 of that 13? And then in the second season, they was like, right, can we not pay you 7 of that 13? So overall, they've not paid him. He's been there 2 years. They've not paid him 17 mil of what should have been a 26 mil contract.
They're acting like they've got a gambling addiction
Nah,
in Barcelona. Borrowing money.
That's mental.
Apparently
Borrowing
it's the
money,
bonuses.
saying they'll pay him back, and then borrowing more, and then just spending it on more shiny things. That's bad.
Mental.
So that's,
Oh my
I
God.
think that's the hold up. Isn't that the hold up why De Jong can't arrive because how much they owe him?
Yeah, because they're saying to him, why don't you just write off? I think they've asked him to write off 13 of the 17.
Yeah.
Imagine
Because
someone
appa-
owed you
yeah, yeah. And
13
just saying,
million,
right,
I'll just call it 4
and you're
million.
like, nah, it's sound, it's fine. Just keep
What
keep
the
the
fuck?
13 million pounds that you owe me. Just
He's like,
keep
I don't
it.
want to leave, for one. For two, I don't want to go live in fucking Manchester. And for three, you want to rob me of 13 million in a pro. Fuck you.
I don't want to play with Fred and McTominay.
He literally wants to play Champions League. You don't want to come to United. Barcelona's your dream club and they owe him 13 mil and they want him to leave.
Mate,
I'm right off.
the
That's
bollocks
hilarious.
on Barcelona to be like, we'll have that Lewandowski fella. And he's like, am I going to get paid? It's like going working for gangsters, isn't it? He's like, yeah, we'll pay you. Oh, will we? Wait till you get here.
It's mad that
Yeah, we're not
happened,
paying
though.
you.
No, but so literally, is there a way out for Barca really, other than just selling all their best players?
I think, yeah, they just keep selling. I mean, the problem is,
All
it
this-
started with Messi's contract. Messi's contract was 2.6 million a week. Now, on some levels, you go, it's Messi and he's worth it, right? He's one of the greatest players of all time. Some say I say he's probably the second.
Yeah, rate that.
Who's first?
Cristiano. The way his wages went, you can't be another member of that starting 11 on less than a tenth of him. You can't be. And when you're scoring like 5 goals less than him in the league, which like Neymar and Suarez were doing at one point.
Was it Messi's fault why when they were signing like Griezmann could come in and say you got to give me 800 grand a week?
Correct. It's the same way like Ashley Young could go and ask for 100 grand a week at United because Sanchez was on 375.
It's all relative, isn't it?
Yeah.
What you play players.
Yeah.
It's just
How are these
relative.
agents
You just
knowing
compare to who's there?
knowing the going rates for these other players?
Don't know. So it's in someone's. I mean, ultimately, those agents sometimes are shared, aren't they? So
Thing is, a club like Barcelona, they'll never go out of business because if the worst came to worst, someone would just buy them. Some rich, big
they've actually just so they're a fan-owned club, and obviously
that's the problem.
With what we've done with Paddock, I'm very interested in the way Barcelona's run, because on one hand it's the democratic football club you're supposed to emulate. You know, we was talking about this the other day, weren't we? A few years ago, they was the club that didn't have a sponsor. The shirt was pristine, and then they were like, "Actually, we don't want a sponsor. We'll put UNICEF on there, and we'll pay what a sponsor would pay us." Fucking hell! There's never been a football club that's this fucking angelic. Fast forward 10 years later, you know, they've sold the stadium, the iconic fucking Nou Camp. It's not a Spotify Nou Camp. Well done. They've had all sorts of mad sponsors. They went with is it Saudi Airways or Qatari Airways across the front of the shirt. You know, they've sold everything to the highest bidder now, but they're $1 billion in debt. They got to, and most of it's gone on wages. And the mad thing is, Barcelona and Real Madrid, unlike the Premier League, which Manchester City, you should look into this. Manchester City are trying to break like the constitution of the Premier League, which was signed in 1992 by all the Premier League teams, all the founding teams of the Premier League. The Premier League constitution was that there's an equal split of TV revenue, which makes the Premier League the most competitive league in Europe, and has prevented the sort of runaway sort of success that you've seen in other leagues, because it allows teams to be able to compete. It allows the bottom teams to say no to the top teams when it comes to transfers, and keeps a stronger league going. Manchester City are trying to break that because they don't want that. They want it to be like Spain and France and all the rest of that sort of stuff.
They've just been winning for like a few years.
But they're trying to break that. Look into that. Don't take my word for it. Go and look into what they're trying to do in terms of Soriano.
You're throwing in allegedly?
No, I'm not throwing it allegedly because I know it's true. Go and have a look at it. Both Soriano and Bajiristan Soriano might have done a talk on it, actually, where he says he didn't want it.
Do you know what Barca do? They sign Messi and Ronaldo, pay them what they want, and they rake in all the cash from the shirt money.
But they don't as well either. So people always talk about shirt sales. United's deal with Adidas. United don't get any additional money until we've sold like a record number of shirts.
Okay, don't do that, Barca.
Because that's why when you see it's like 40, 50 million a season, that's you getting that shirt sale money up front. That's the licensing agreement with the likes of Barcelona and this, that and the other. That's why they get paid so much up front.
Have you learned that with Paddock?
No, I knew that beforehand. But yeah, we don't have a licensing agreement. We look after our own merchandise. But that might be the next evolution. If we can, we're selling at a higher rate than League Two clubs.
Really?
Yeah. There's League Two clubs on Puma's books that we've sold more shirts than. And that's where we're trying to maintain. If we continue that sort of trend, we will end up with a licensing agreement rather than the current. We have what's called gift of kit with Puma at the moment. So we get a lot of kit gifted. Like, you know, we've got like 20 odd boots upstairs, haven't we? Often that's the things that we get from Puma. They look after us in that sort of sense. They're doing other stuff with us. But a big club like a United, a Chelsea, Real Madrid, Barcelona, teams that sell a lot of kit, they'll get the 40, 50, 60 million pound licensing deals per season, because then Adidas and Nike are going, right, okay, we'll take this on. We've paid you for that. Now it's on us to go and flog as many shirts as we can and recoup our money back.
That does make sense.
That's where the money comes in from them sorts of things. But yeah, we should have a gift of kit one. That's the way we're working with it at the moment.
That is interesting. Someone actually said an interesting question up there in the chat, and it's, who do you think's captain on tour?
De Gea, probably.
Bruno.
Or it could be Bruno.
Bruno or De Gea for captain.
Bruno's a little bit.
A lot of people are going to be unhappy with that because De Gea has a huge
communication.
Nah, no, I was going to say like
problem.
What the complete opposite of a fan base is what De Gea has. I mean, a lot of people. I said opposite, as in a lot of people are very critical of De Gea.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So critical of everyone.
So I think people. But he's been quite divisive, the fan base, in terms of people's opinions on him. People are very much thinking that he's a bit of an outdated keeper, just a shot stopper only. I think United need to move on for Ten Hag's style, etc., and his kind of new age philosophy. So, like, I think De Gea being captain going into the season will raise a few eyebrows, especially because it failed when he was a captain beforehand. Was a little bit of a drama, and then he got stripped to the captaincy. So, Bruno's probably the only other option, obviously, with Ronaldo leaving. Maguire's obviously shown over the course of the past year that he's nowhere near captain material for United, and he proved it again quite recently.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a big issue across the squad, is that there's not enough leaders. I've got a question there from Hostad said, did we look at other kit manufacturers or was Puma the best with what they offered? We spoke to Adidas, Nike. I think Nike was fairly close, but they wouldn't do any sort of activation stuff with us. Like, let's just say Varane is a Puma athlete. So there might be something in the pipeline that we can do with Varane. There's other stuff in the pipeline with Puma and their clubs that we can do, which is getting more realistic now. Like COVID's no longer a real issue that it has been. Even last season was still causing a bit of an issue with some of the stuff we wanted to do. And Puma really got that sort of stuff of it. We're going to have at some of our home games this season, we've got like the Puma boot truck's going to come down so kids can come and have a look at all the different boots and we can do giveaways and those sorts of things. Nike's just felt like a sales pitch almost. Didn't really dig it. Adidas's was good, and we looked at some stuff with Adidas. There was also like at the local manufacturer. Some of you might have seen them kits that we did. They did the Zebra kit. You remember it? Yeah, we've had him try it on. They did that. The Zebra United kit, the black and white.
Yeah, I think
one.
I've seen it upstairs. Is it on
the
side? Yeah, I've seen it.
They made us that, and they made us a couple. We had spoke to about 5 or 6 different manufacturers, but Puma's was the best offering for us. And actually, when we saw the stuff up close, it was the best quality stuff as well.
Did Neymar get his kit?
Did Neymar get his kit?
He's coming down to the first game of the season, I think. Neymar. They're sending him down.
I think his deal,
he's going to be in the Boots truck.
I think his deal's like 100 million plus or something like that.
Yeah, ridiculous.
He's one of those legacy deals.
I thought he had the legacy deal. No, I thought it's either Neymar or Usain Bolt that are like.
Yeah, both. I think.
The faces. Because who's like the face of Nike? Is it
Ronaldo and Mbappe?
Ronaldo and Mbappe,
or LeBron James?
Possibly. Yeah.
Oh, in other sports, I don't know.
Right, we'll talk about that when we come back anyway.
Yeah.
Shave your balls.
Summer is coming and the sun is shining, shirts are off and your balls are smooth. You heard that right. Your friends at Manscaped are here to make your beach balls as smooth as Floridian sand. In summer, you want to kill some cold beers and the barbecues and not kill the vibe with your pubes peeping out all over your shots. And that's why Manscaped has got the Performance Package 4.0 to keep the party in your pants looking crisp and refreshing all summer. Dive headfirst into summer by joining the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get ready for hot guy summer by going to manscaped.com where you can get 20% off and free shipping using the code XG20.
Hey.
Yeah.
How much of that did we get caught? And they're interested anyway.
Sweet.
That was nearly a bit of a fuck up.
Love from Nepal.
But yeah, Bruno as captain, I'm saying. Can't be De Gea, because...
I don't think it can be Bruno.
This is the thing, that there's just no options.
Why can't it be De Gea?
Well, this is why I don't think
I think
De Gea
Gea
needs to go. I think De Gea needs to go.
Yeah, but he won't.
But his contract expires at the end of next season. They might just not... The thing is, Ten Hag's not going to want Bruno. De Gea.
He might not, but he might also.
How do you know that?
Fucking choice.
Because he's just not a ball-playing keeper.
So how comes? So why has he come in and then just one of the first things he's done is sent Dean Henderson on loan, and then kept De Gea?
Because he obviously doesn't think Dean Henderson's good enough either. But the thing is, it's not a priority. Sorting De Gea out is not a priority. There's other priorities. Sort De Gea out next season. Keep him. Sort him out next season. Make Bruno captain. He's going to be here for a while. That's 100% guaranteed.
Is it crazy that the player you're slandering was borderline player of the season last year for United?
It's a low bar.
Alongside Ronaldo. Alongside Ronaldo.
We finished 6th though. It's not like we won the league and he was like player of the year.
So how comes Ronaldo's getting accolade for saving our season so much for us just to finish 6th as well?
Because he scored like 24
goals.
No,
you can't have it both ways.
De Gea just made mistakes still. Conceded loads of goals.
So how many games last season, especially early on, did De Gea save us?
No defence in front of him for the most
part. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. You basically you kind of moving the goalposts for Ronaldo and then for De Gea.
Look,
do you know what I mean?
How I feel with De Gea is this: he's an unbelievable shot stopper. When we have a bad season, he looks good because he's getting peppered. But when we do okay, like we did the season before last and the season before that, he makes so many mistakes, and that's just because he's not getting peppered and you're relying on other parts of his goalkeeping ability. It's not good enough. And he's been here for years.
Is De Gea the only one? Is De Gea the only one in the team with a Premier League medal now?
Technically, Phil Jones still is in the team, which is bonkers.
Obviously Ronaldo, but
Yeah, Ronaldo's got a couple.
I'd say it's a shame with Phil Jones.
But yeah, no one else left, is it? Tommy Eaton wouldn't have got one when he was here last time. He was in the squad, though. How mad's that?
That's bizarre. Is there anyone we've signed who won it with someone else? Obviously Mata, but
Matter had one, didn't he? Matic had one.
he's
Yeah,
gone.
because that's been a criticism what McKay said about Ronaldo is like he didn't score in many games, and sometimes a lot of his stats got backlogged where he scored like 2s and 3s in games, which you can't criticise him for because he still scored the game, still scored the goals.
Still
You know what I
scored.
mean?
It's a weird thing to pull up that.
Yeah,
I just love
because
Ronaldo.
people usually kind of manipulate stats in a certain way where they'll be like, oh, but what was his record against the big six, etc.
Well, we didn't score
Do you know what I
against
mean?
them, and that wasn't necessarily down to him. We generally didn't have the fucking ball. Generally didn't create any chances. Like that's not necessarily him.
So Ronnie, do you think that De Gea is like the best goalie we could have right now?
Right now,
Yeah.
yeah,
Why?
because who else can we get? He's better right now.
Okay, say the end of next season when we've sorted a few.
I really don't
problems
get this
out.
agenda against De Gea. You know, it's proper weird. He's obviously got weaknesses, or whatever, but I don't get why.
I'd change him if we could. I
why-
just don't think it's the priority.
I get that more mentality, but there's like a proper extremist version where people are just like boot him.
That's
For
literally what I
for
said.
Dean
though.
Henderson, he's proved nothing really, and then who's been shipped out on loan with a keeper that seems to be having faltering weaknesses, which says you a lot. Which says a lot in general. But I just don't. I think he's very underappreciated. I believe De Gea. Obviously, he's got.
Joe, I think he could be as well.
Many
I think
problems.
we got rid of that fucking absolute clown as a goalkeeper coach. I don't know if Lee Grant's been doing it lately. What was he called him?
Well, the Spanish guy.
I don't know. It was the one that was absolutely loving himself. Anyway, used to see him walking around the team hotel when we was on pre-season, and he was on the phone and he was just stood in front of a mirror, just having himself, and just like, "What are you fucking doing, you?" Honestly, you'd like, and it wasn't just like he was stood in front of the mirror. He was literally like flexing and like brushing his clothes down for hours. And you're like, "What are you doing?"
Black slip back hair.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
What was it called?
They clearly just
Was it
thought-
Emiliano or something like that?
I don't know. But yeah, he was
Fucking
good
hell,
mates with
what
the Spanish lot. wasn't he?
shopper he was, yeah. But apparently he was a bit of an issue. Like Eric Steele was class, and I think it's gone a bit west since then. Franz Hoek could have gone either way, I guess. I don't know if he was a success or not. I don't know, but yeah, I think if you can get a good goalkeeping coach in, that'd probably go a long fucking way.
So look, he scored 8 into the top 6 last season.
Who's that?
Ronaldo.
Did he?
He scored 4 against Spurs, 3 against Chelsea. Peter Kelly said, and 1.
No, not 3 against Chelsea.
No, 1 against Chelsea, 3 against Arsenal. 8. Fair enough,
There you
decent
go.
return. Because he obviously got a hat trick against Spurs.
Right, so who are you having to replace him? Ronaldo.
Ronaldo. There's no one out there because the replacements were taken by City and Liverpool.
Yeah, I know, but there are players out there. There's just not a top player out there.
At the moment, obviously, you've got Belotti out there on a free. He's got pedigree, but he hasn't been great the past couple of seasons. But it's a weird one because Belotti was valued at 80 million just like 3 seasons ago.
Oh.
And now he's a free agent. You got obviously Skamaka. Everyone's not too sure about whether he wants to come to England or whether he wants to leave Italy. He's heavily linked to PSG at the moment, but he's got a lot of ability and he's got a little bit of Ibra in him.
He probably wouldn't go if he was in because he's not big enough name to hold down a starting place. You are literally
He's not. Yeah.
Mbappe can't be out playing.
So would you take Belotti, put him on a 3-year deal? We've seen that. We've seen that squad for pre-season, and like he's very bare up front. We need someone in. I'd take Belotti on a 3-year deal because he'd want to join.
It has to be someone like a Skamaka Belotti because it'd be cheaper. Skamaka was valued at 30 million, but it looks like it's going to be like 50 or 60 for PSG. Jonathan David is another option, but he's actually more of a second striker rather than someone that leads the line on his own, and he's probably going to cost you at least 50 or 60 million himself. And I'm not sure whether he's necessarily the answer for the starting number 9 at United either. But we can't be too choosy and too selective at the moment because we see the forward line going on tour, and it's very weak. And it's someone that's if we go into the season with a forward line like that, we're in big trouble.
Do you agree with me though, guys? That you just want to see someone up front. They might not be like world class as long as they're good, but they just want to be there and they're grafting. That's all I want to see now. Like based on how bad we were last
probably
season.
all you're going to get, and that's if it comes off. To be honest, we're not even a guarantee it comes off.
It's just because we just haven't seen that.
What's
all
thoughts
season.
on the way Real Madrid do captaincy? Or they did do. I don't know if they're still.
How do you do it?
It's on the player with the most appearances. So it's not even necessarily a time thing. because like Phil Jones will be captain and that's mental. But if you do it on appearances, obviously it's those that have been there for a while, but they've also played regularly too.
So who is it?
'Cause
Benzema?
I think Rashford's overtook Jones in terms of appearances.
Is it Benzema then?
Yeah, he's captain, isn't
I guess when you're winning though, that's fine as a like technique. But then, like you said, if Rashford's got quite a lot of appearances, you don't want to make him captain based on the season he just had.
Well, no, but would you have him over Phil Jones?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah,
Because
so there you go. But so on appearances, it's De Gea by an absolute country mile, and I don't think there's probably anyone within 100 or so of him. I mean,
no, you're right. It would have been Ronaldo, but
who will it be? On a serious note, who's it going to be? I mean, has Rashford played more than Luke Shaw?
Yeah.
Rashford played more than Luke
Nah,
Shaw.
no.
Probably quite close between those two, I would imagine.
Obviously, Luke Shaw had a huge injury
Yeah,
during
yeah.
it, so obviously the
He's
time.
had a few injuries, hasn't he? So sort of.
Yeah, I think it's De Gea with the most, but he has to be. He's a goalkeeper. But the thing is, you see I saw a clip the other day of De Gea just being quite vocal, and it just made me think, quite rate that. Do you know what I mean?
He's been quite vocal in terms of when he comes out and his post-game interviews. He seems to have a level of obviously accountability. He seems to have a pretty high standard for the club in general. Right. So he has spoken out, but I don't know whether he's actually vocal in game.
Okay,
yeah. I'll go.
You've laughed, which kind of concerns me.
Yeah. I'm going to go 15 because it's mental, right? Give me the 15 players with the most current United players, and I'm going to start at 15. See if you can guess who number 15 is.
15's a far out number.
The top 15?
Jesus.
The top 15. It gets easier as we get closer, but I'm going to start at 15 just because it's wild.
Go on, bang one out. Each.
What, right? Bang
Wait,
one
so
out.
you want us to say who?
Just guess who you think is 15.
Oh, who is 15? I thought you said like name the top 15.
I'd
say, yeah. Go on, Ronaldo. You guess first.
Why are you grinning like that?
Because it's fucking nuts.
Is it someone like Anthony Elanga or something?
It's Andreas Pereira with 45 appearances.
Andreas Pereira is 15th.
That shows how fucking few appearances are in the mix. Eric Bailly's 14 with 70. Bruno Fernandes is 13 with 87. Just above him, we've got Aaron Wan-Bissaka with 89. Although, no, this isn't totaled. Sorry.
Oh, here we go.
This is obviously skewed. Because, I've just said Aaron Wan-Bissaka with 89. That's league appearances. So, actually, if we go back, it's...
So you fucked it up.
For Pereira, it's actually 75. Yeah, because this column, I thought this was this column, but it's not. So it's Andres Pereira, Eric Bailly, Bruno Fernandes, Wan-Bissaka, Mason Greenwood then. But he's had 8. That's what threw me, because it says 83, which is obviously, he's above Wan-Bissaka, but he must have played more cup games. So Mason Greenwood is actually 11th in our current squad's all-time United appearances. Yeah. That's fucking nuts. Just above him, with a total of 144, is Harry Maguire. Just above him, 157 is Fredge. And just above him with 170 is McTominay. Lindelof is 7th with 196. Then it's Luke Shaw in 6th with 213. Phil Jones, remember, has been there since 2011.
And he's 5th.
He's 229th. He's 5th. Jeez. So the top 4 then, who is it?
Oh, we see De Gea's going to be number 1.
Correct. And he's got 487 appearances.
Second, I'm going to go for...
You didn't say Rashford, have you?
It's actually Cristiano Ronaldo.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Third, Rashford.
330 appearances. Third is Marcus Rashford with 303 appearances. And then Tony Marshall with 269 appearances.
The thing is, it's not really that surprising because a lot of players have gone out the door and we're in transition. We've had so many.
You're telling me that
quality in that experience.
You're telling me that.
Yeah, no.
It
shows where we are as a club.
If you had the Real Madrid philosophy of most appearances for captain, Ronaldo leaves, De Gea gets binned in Dre's wet dream.
Rashford's captain.
Rashford or Martial for captain and vice captain.
Can you imagine Martial rocks up to training?
And after that, it's Phil Jones.
You're captain this season, mate.
After that, it's Phil Jones. Then it's Luke Shaw. And then, then you're looking at people who, actually is not. I mean, even saying this, I'm not even going to say it, actually, fuck it. But you've got Lindelof and McTominay and Fred and then Harry Maguire. And you think, there's not a captain amongst you.
It has to be Bruno. Surely you can all agree that. Surely.
No, I don't think. I think he's petulant. And when you look at what Ten Hag set out as rules in terms of body language and the way you communicate and encourage your teammates, that's not his captain.
Yeah, but don't some players, they need a little bit of, right, this is something in your game that I don't like. Don't do it anymore.
No,
he
doesn't.
You've not seen that footage of CCTV footage of him kicking fuck out of a vending machine.
Oh, at Sporting.
That's who he is. That's in him.
Yeah,
it's
but
like
Roy Keane
Ronaldo.
if Roy Keane did that, you'd be like, yeah, Sam.
No, because Roy Keane does it. I can't explain it, but there's a difference, and there's a fucking massive difference.
I know what you mean, but he's like a hard Irish, just like, you know what Roy Keane's like. Bruno's just being himself, doing the same thing.
Yeah, but there's a petulance and a whininess to it, and the body language thing's fucking fine. It's massive.
I know what you mean about the
compare Bruno to Roy Keane in that sense. Bruno does have that whiny, annoying petulantness to rather than it being kind of captain, leader, and encouraging.
I'm glad you've said this, Ronaldo.
I don't play for United.
Don't matter. It's a conversation we've had.
You know what I mean? And I've never claimed to be a captain.
Tammy Abraham, not as captain, but
yeah, certainly not.
But he might as well be captain if you get him in.
Yeah, like ultimately for me, this is symptomatic. You go back to teams in the 90s or the 2000s. You had the likes of Patrice Evra, who were not officially the captain, but leaders. When he joined just after Roy Keane had gone, I think. So in that team, you've got your Giggses, you've got Scholes, you've got Vidic, you've got Rio, you've got a young Wayne Rooney who wouldn't have been captain material at the time. You've got Vidic and Evra. These leaders, these characters all over the pitch. You look at the squad now and you go, no, we don't have that. I'll bag on Liverpool as much as I can at any opportunity that I can do. But I saw that they do this is crazy, by the way, and I won't be introducing this to Paddock because I don't understand why they do it. But they do an exhaustion run where you just run till you quit. It's just laps. James Milner has won it 8 consecutive years.
Yeah, seen that.
And you see that picture of him doing the rounds the other day? Motherfucker.
The veins.
He's jacked as fuck. Yeah. But he's a character. I can appreciate, he must be the most anti-United human being. He's played for fucking Liverpool, Leeds, and Manchester City. He definitely doesn't like United in any fucking way, shape, or form.
Here's a question for you. When Brian Robson signed, how long after he signed did he get made captain?
Don't know.
Was it quite quick though? Do you remember?
No, because it was signed 2 years before I was born. I was imagine it was within a couple of years though.
Yeah, because I mean, I was going to say maybe something like that could happen at United.
Don't compare Brian Robson to Bruno.
I'm not.
Good.
But do you know what I mean? That United back then were in a situation where they were underperforming.
And still had leaders. And we had Norman Whiteside in there, Paul McGrath in there, Frank Stapleton in there. They were still leaders in that team. Mark Hughes. There was leaders in that team and characters in that team. And Brian Robson stood out above those guys. And everyone talks about the drinking culture, but Robson led from the front in everything.
Yeah, well, that's why we might need to sign it. Like I said earlier, players who aren't quite the top players, but they're players who have character behind them. They want to be at the club, this and that. And then in a couple of years, you can then look to improve it even more. We've fallen so far. We can't just be like, this signing will take us right back up to here. It's steps, isn't it? It's steps and steps.
It is, and it's about getting the character right.
In.
Character and that desire to push yourself to the end.
That's why I wasn't that, do you remember Azpilicueta got linked? Well, I didn't get linked, but there was a period where Azpilicueta wants to leave Chelsea. I wouldn't mind signing him. He's a character. He's not the best player in the world. Get him in. He'll make the squad better.
Yeah, I think you do need to bring in people like that sometimes.
Yeah,
I think you really do.
I feel that's what we're like now.
I was just kind of sidetracked by the fact that someone suggested that we could do Ronaldo plus cash for Kane.
Harry Kane doesn't make us. We need a striker. Harry Kane's better than no striker.
Do you know what I will say? You will say when I went to watch the England game, England vs Hungary, and I was watching up close. That was the first time I watched silent, watched Harry Kane properly. Obviously, sometimes we complain about the fact he doesn't run channels, he isn't quick. Sometimes he's not that mobile. He's by far England's best player. I looked at him and thought, he actually.
Okay.
You know what it is?
Styles make fights though. He does not suit United.
You know what it is? He might not suit United, but I looked at that and thought he's actually quality-wise, he's probably the only world-class player England have. And I think I've been too critical of him over the years, to be honest. I watched him, and I thought he would improve. I know United were linked to him probably a year or two ago. Probably would have cost too much. he might not necessarily fit our style in some senses, but I feel like he's just too good of a player where he would have scored goals anyway.
There's no way he's coming.
Yeah.
Someone's just texted me. Macclesfield have updated their financial accounts for the year. They made a 400 grand loss in Northwest Counties, and they was getting 3,000 at the stadium as well.
Jesus.
Fucking hell.
So why would
So what's
that
the point?
Well, they're trying to get up the league, aren't they? They will be conference soon. They are spending some money. And obviously we saw, didn't we, when we went down and played them.
Yeah.
They had a game just after us. It's brilliantly run setup. They're obviously pouring money. It's not when you go, where the fucking hell are you spending the money? Like you do at United. You spent
can
$1
tell
billion
where this-
on
yeah.
fucking what? Like, yeah, Mac flying, absolutely flying. But they made a 400 grand loss in Northwest Counties. That's where we're aiming to be in like 5 years, by the way. And you think this team's just making a loss of 400 grand. Someone's going like, yeah, don't worry about
league,
it.
yeah. That is mental.
Fucking hell.
Absolutely mental.
Righty then, we're going to wrap it up there. Cheers for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed that little discussion amongst other things from us. We've got to look forward to the tour now, haven't we? So cheers for tuning in. We'll see you in a bit.
Real fan ownership, real fan input, real fan change, real fan power. 50 plus 1, we can go better than that. 100 plus none. Download our app, view the free content, read about the club, that's fine. But if you want more, become a member. To vote, to go behind the scenes, to make an impact, interact with a global community around the world, influencing how we grow, where we play, club ethics and values. The more members we have, the faster we grow. Support the club, run the club, own the club. This is ours and no one will take it away. The future is in all our hands.